Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Westview PTO meeting. It's official.
It's official.
We are on. And we're still waiting for Mrs. Lodge. Should we take roll? I think we should.
Let's go ahead.
All right. We are at our Westview School PTO meeting, Tuesday, January 10th, 2017. Happy New Year. We'll call the meeting to order. We can go around and do quick introductions for everybody in YouTube land. I am Brooke Wyndham, president, and we can go this way.
I'm Ann Brock, vice president.
Araceli Botello, an active parent.
I'm Alan Buttermer, principal.
Rachel Weikenheim, fourth grade teacher.
And we're waiting for Shelly Laws, our treasurer. She should be here soon. She did say she will be here. First things, President's report is on the agenda. I only had a couple of things. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who showed up for the holiday program. I think it was a big success, and it can't be without all of the volunteers. I think the kids really enjoyed it, and it went over without a hitch. So that was a good thing. And I also wanted to bring up, before we get to new business, the pancake breakfast, which is typically held by the foundation every year, will not be held this year. To replace such an event, the PTO will need to talk about it a little bit further, but we need to kick around some ideas on how to raise some funds in order to achieve that new playground that we've been talking about for Westview, and then some other things for Oak Brook and the junior high. So that's all I've got. And Ann, did you have anything particular?
Not today.
Okay. Nothing from the vice president. And our secretary, Sonia Moxby, is not in today. Obviously, we're being broadcast here, so she can take all of her notes from home if she's watching.
And that is part of the technology as well. So after the meeting, the video automatically becomes a link to a recording of the meetings, and we'll post that on our PTO website as well.
That's great. And anybody else who's watching, if you really like this technology, you can go on Facebook and find Westview PTO on Facebook. And again, as Mr. Buttermer said, there's a link on the Westview page for anything in the future. Hi, Mrs. Laws.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How
Happy
are
New
you?
Year.
Happy New Year.
Do you have your report handy?
I do, but I ran out of ink, so you guys.
So we'll share. We can all share.
Thank you.
Okay, so this, am I up? 'Cause I'm
Mrs.
just
Laws,
starting.
you are up. We have,
sorry.
I don't know if you have the agenda in front of you, but review of 2017 budget thus far. And then so on and so forth.
Okay, so the review of the budget. This is just the third quarter results. We budgeted in our budget meeting. We budgeted for the 5th grade field trip. We budgeted for the kids stuff. We budgeted for, and thus far the field trip, we've only had one expense toward it, and that's the most recent expense that I just did. You'll see here for the 5th grade field trip. So there's still plenty of funds for the 5th grade field trip, or the 5th grade
Activities.
stuff, right? Expenses. We did budget for the kids stuff, and we actually under budgeted for the kids stuff, if I recall, because as you can see, we made over $1,500, and that's almost $200 more than we made last year.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are, I am writing a check though to give back $768 because we do half of what we raised total. So we did good there. We did budget for the sportswear. And even though this is only third quarter results, so nothing is showing for the sportswear, we came right on budget with the sportswear. We did budget for the Life Touch, and I don't have anything for Life Touch as of yet because, you know, nothing is really going on with Life Touch right now. What else do I recall? McTeacher Night. We did budget for McTeacher Night, and we budgeted for fundraisers. Let's put it like that. McTeacher Night was one of them, and we did really good. We did $200+ in McTeacher Night, but I still don't have from the share from Oak Brook.
Okay, I'll contact them.
And what I'm referring to is we did
Teacher tips.
yes, and we sold the pies, and we were supposed to split the pot. I haven't received Westview's share of split the pot yet.
Okay.
Okay. Outdoor ed, we did budget for outdoor ed, and we came right within target. We were slightly less than we were last year with outdoor ed as far as the final count and what we actually made. But Mr. Buttermore did explain that we have less students this year. So therefore, you know, our outdoor ed profit was less than what it was last year.
$484, is that right?
Yes, this is third quarter, remember?
Right.
Yes,
So,
that's what we came in.
so a little less than usual, but still contributes to fifth grade activities.
Yeah. What we did not budget for is the pancake breakfast. However, the pancake breakfast did send us a check for a little over $1,000 for this year. So that was free money.
Those are profits from last year.
So that was from
getting distributed.
2016.
Yes, but I did get, and I don't know if we are going to talk about this, I got an email about PTO taking over.
Asked if
They
PTOs
wanted to.
would be willing to,
Okay.
so.
They did. They sent out the foundation who typically runs the pancake breakfast with the help of us, asked if we would like to take over. There wasn't a whole lot of response on that from any of the PTOs. I know that that's not something that I can do. So I do have some other ideas. I know that the pancake breakfast, it's been around for quite a few years. I think it might have run its course in popularity.
I
We
agree.
might need to freshen up the mix a little bit. We had talked about doing the fun run, things of that nature. So during new business, I'd like to maybe brainstorm a couple of ideas, ask people from home if they want to email, they can do that, things like that. So we can definitely move into that later.
For the book fair, we budgeted around about $1,500 total, and that includes fall and spring. We're right in line with that. As you can see, we, well, when I say right in line, I mean total income. We made about $840. We did have to pay out. Fall is usually, we're paying out more in fall than we are in spring.
Spring's usually intended to be, the profits get, it's buy one, get one. So we
Correct.
just try to break even.
Correct. So we're right in line with that. What else? We did budget for the cultural events, and thus far we've spent out a little over $1,100 when we did the Tim Hannon show. And that's all I have right now.
What did we
Besides the
budget?
one for, we budgeted, if I recall, let me see if I have mine.
I thought that budget was like 1,800, wasn't it?
No, it was
2,000?
more than that.
2,000?
Yeah, I want to say it was about maybe 1,200, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Less. Okay.
No, not
Yes.
for Tim Hannig directly, for all cultural arts.
for all cultural activities, not just Tim Hannon.
No, we would have put more in there.
Okay. I don't,
We split the Tim Henning with right? Or
We did.
Westview.
Okay. So I'm chairing that, and I have all of them booked, I think. So let me follow up with you, Mrs. Laws, and make sure I'm not overspending too much.
okay.
1,100 is spent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 1,100 is spent. Actually, a little bit more than that because I gave you for something that's coming up in April.
Right, that's part of my schedule, so, okay.
Okay.
I'm not concerned. It's-
Okay.
What we're doing is typical. What we're
Okay.
spending is typical, so.
But as you can see, overall, we're doing really well. We still have a little over 21,000 rather. I'm sorry, I've been dealing with numbers all day. So we have a little over 21,000 and we still have more fundraisers to go for spring. So
Mhm.
I think we'll be good.
Further on in the agenda, you had mentioned that you used the paw print car magnets
Yes,
for
so,
school-wide bingo.
so you had a
That's great.
stack of these.
Yeah.
In the cabinet that we found. I don't have this stuff anymore, so. We have, as part of our behavior committee, we came up with the idea not only to promote positive behavior, but also to decrease the negative behaviors, to limit the number of incident reports, which is the way we track them. And if we met our goal in the month of December, which was to have fewer than the previous December, we would play school-wide bingo. And we met that goal, and we actually did it over
cool.
YouTube. So I was in my office calling the numbers and broadcasting the board, and then the kids in the classrooms could all follow along with their own bingo card. So we're going to do it again, hoping that we make our goal for the month of January. And so we're going to continue to use these as prizes because it promotes Westview. We have them; they're already paid for. However, I know there was some talk about possibly selling these as well at a future event, but yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah, give them to the kids. That's great.
we're depleting our reserves, our inventory. You know, it's clearance time.
Do we need more?
No,
Okay.
no, we have plenty, and we have a new
Okay.
logo now too. So maybe that's something for the future. I
Sure.
will say the kids were really excited about them.
Okay.
So for a future, thing, if we wanted to look at
Yeah.
other, I know we've talked about that, like, in addition to Spiritware, possibly expanding with some other products. We do a new logo with our cool little Wildcat. We do own the rights to his design, so
Mhm.
copyright issues. So this is still appropriate, but we have some other logos we want to consider too. So,
Cool.
But the car magnet idea was well received by this new generation because I think those were originally about 7 or 8 years old.
Perfect. Well, we can definitely look into that. Yeah.
Can I interject? I did forget to bring up one thing. There was an issue, and I'm still looking into it, where we received an email about the school kits and the fact that they weren't paid, they're saying. I'm still looking into that because I did write a check last year and I gave it to the president at that time. I'm waiting on them to call me back
Okay.
to
Okay.
confirm, and then I will update everyone at that time.
It's the
That's
beauty of
great.
working with the check, so we can always
Yes.
see whether or not it was deposited
We
appropriately.
always have records.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Thank you for following up on that.
No problem.
Since we're in the treasurer's report here, I just had some other money issues that we added to the agenda. So the bingo has been popular with the kids, and we have a parent engagement committee with the faculty, and we are going to host a family bingo night right here in the
Nice.
library. Actually, I think we've decided we're going to be blending in some other themes, including a hot cocoa bar, setting up with all your
Nice.
little treats. And so it's going to be on February 13th, and obviously much more information to come. It's a Monday night, but it's before Valentine's Day, so we're going to kind of blend that theme in as well. So I'd like to ask the PTO to support purchasing some of the books as well as prizes. We're hoping to have books be kind of the theme to encourage reading together as a family. For the most part, our objective is simply to make it a fun night, not presentation based or academic in nature, but really just about a fun family night. And so I don't know the exact cost, but if you could approve $150 to $200, I think will probably cover what we're intending to give away.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll support that. Okay.
Right. It's probably embedded within another budget for family nights anyway, but I figured I would.
We never
bring it up.
budgeted anything for family.
We weren't
night.
sure if we were going to hold that.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct. So
Okay.
that, we never budgeted anything, but I mean, we have room.
We have $20,000.
Right.
And it's for families. So
And
Um,
you have all the supplies you need and all that for the bingos?
staff are working on that, and most of it is budgeted already through the school district for
Okay.
this
Cool.
to promote parent engagement.
Great
So-
idea. I like that.
Working
Yeah,
on
I
the
like
flyer,
that too.
so.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Good. Thank you.
Cool.
In addition, at this point, I don't think I particularly want to ask for an expenditure amount, but I guess maybe ask for some direction on a future expenditure amount. And that is, we have a 3D printer in this school, and I think it's awesome, and it does get used. I would like to see it get used more. And in order to print things in 3D, you have to design them. And in order to design them, you have to learn how to design them.
True.
And so one way that I think we could promote that is right now our 3D printer is in this library in our makerspace. And you don't see it, and you don't see it on camera, and you don't see it when you visit our makerspace, because when the heating element heats the plastic, it gets very, very hot and can be dangerous. And so we do keep it kind of secluded in an area. So when it's being used, it's supervised by an adult, of course. What I would like to do is give it a more prominent place in the library, but have it enclosed. So I'd like to purchase a case for it. Now, you would think that you would just Google MakerBot display case, and that'd be pretty easy. There's a tremendous variety of ways to accomplish that out there. And so I guess on my initial search, it was looking like anywhere from $125 up to maybe $400 or $500, depending on the type of case. I know when you visit public libraries, it is not uncommon to see the printer itself behind glass, and then also possibly lit display shelves to then showcase the items that were printed. Because after all, isn't that part of it also? If the students print something, they want to show off, look what I did, and you put their name next to it, and then everybody sees what they designed and printed. So I guess what I'd like to maybe propose that we put this into, in the future when we get to old business and we gloss over the playground because we know we're not ready to really discuss it because it's a lot of money, then maybe we move 3D printer cabinets to that. I'll continue to investigate our options and then maybe have a solid proposal with some real numbers attached to it. So
Sure.
does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it'll be money well spent. It'll be a lot of money. It'll be an investment, but I think it'll be a really good one long term. For
Yeah.
decades, that will be something. And even if 3D printing goes away, we'll use the display case to show kids things. Yeah. And then you had mentioned the field trip assistance, Mrs. Laws. We've dedicated the $2 for the 5th grade, and that's already paid. And then the 4th grade theirs is not come up yet, but we will be asking. It's April, Robert, right? So we'll be asking for the $2 per child for an April. It's actually going to be an in-house field trip, so to speak, with Robert Crown Center also, a different presentation. And then 3rd grade, their most expensive trip, so if PTO were to defray the cost by $2 per child, will be a trip to Navy Pier, and that'll be in the spring.
Okay.
So so that'll be happening, and it does go a long way in taking, a $10 trip and making it 8 helps out a lot. And obviously, just to reassure you all, of course, we never have a child not participate due to financial reasons. We figure it out.
Support that. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
As I said, we have room. So.
All right. Oh, it's my turn, isn't it?
It's your turn.
Okay. All right. So moving on with the principal's report. I dramatically shortened my report to just keep it kind of simple relative to the extent of what I usually do, but still categorized it. So the first area is students. And since school's back here last week, we moved to our winter entrance procedures, which we use throughout the year if it rains. But instead of doing it only on really bad mornings, we just do it every morning where the kids enter the building as they arrive. And it goes really smoothly. By late February, early March, we're going to be ready to push it back outside. We don't usually pick a firm date on that. We kind of wait and see what the weather's doing. So we don't necessarily say that it's this way all the way till spring break. And if we get a week where it's, in the forecast, how strange it can be, right? Where we know the forecast is going to be 50 degrees for 4 days straight or something. We might tell them, get outside, get some fresh air in the morning. So we'll see. But generally speaking, we're using that procedure. We're supposed to begin last Tuesday. They began today instead. There was a power outage at the junior high during the day. And so in order to get that repaired, we had to cancel after school activities, but they did begin today. I actually saw Mr. Morong briefly after his rehearsal today, and he said it went well. So our first beginning band rehearsal is under our belt. And the winter band concert, which will be the first time that the beginning band performs, is going to be on February 23rd at Wooddale Junior High, beginning at 7 o'clock. We already mentioned our winter parties went well, but we also had our winter holiday program early December. I think it was the 6th this year. Thought it went very well. Logistically, things went well. I thought the kids performed well. Staff reported that things went smoothly in terms of the tremendous coordination that it takes. I have had a Google form with a link on our Westview News website and included in our weekly newsletter that goes up by email. I haven't had any submissions to that, so I haven't really received any direct feedback aside from a couple of face-to-face conversations. I just wondered if any of you had any feedback on the winter music program.
Westview's went great.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shermack and myself and Mr. Thomes and Ms. Means, the part-time music teacher at Oak Brook School, all met after winter break and discussed the entire, logistics to the program at both buildings, because obviously they all work on it and they're modeled after each other. Not to mention the fact that Mr. Thomes is new and having taken over from Mrs. Donahoe, who was here for 10 years. So
He did a great job.
I know
He
that
did.
I know that there was
Yeah.
a lot of feedback regarding Oak Brook's program that was definitely taken into consideration. And by the way, in terms of my involvement, very confident that those things will be improved. So that's in the works. Our students participated in map testing before the holidays, and the results are scheduled to go home January 26th. That is really just a date that was chosen for the convenience of the logistics and printing and sending them home. If the students know their score as soon as they're finished, they do forget frequently. So if there are any parents who are looking for insight prior to January 26th, just contact your child's teacher. It is not a problem. It's not under lock and key. So, but it is coming home in paper form on the 26th. English language learner students are participating in the access testing right now. That's testing their English proficiency in reading, writing, speaking, listening. And that's something they do annually. And so that helps them and us and their families to know how they're growing in those areas. So that's a comparative way to look at progress over time. And they're doing that now. They take subtests in each of those areas, but it's across all the students, all those ELL students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in all the different classrooms. And so we have it scheduled a little bit at a time, and it goes all the way through February 10th. But students aren't actually taking a test every single day from now until February 10th. We are also preparing, and a little bit more on our minds now is after the holidays, the PARC test, which tests all of our students in grades 3 through 8 in their proficiency toward the Common Core standards. And that is going to be scheduled this year a little later than it has the past 2 years. It's going to be after spring break in April. And so our curriculum is addressing those needs. And so there's not anything we're going to do necessarily different to prepare for the PARC test, but there's the test itself and the format and the length. And those are the types of things that we'll be working with students to make sure that it isn't, a shock to the system, that they've had similar experiences in class prior to actually taking it when it counts, so to speak. So, say anything about that at all?
Just looking into, they'll be participating in more computer-based assessments, especially since that's what they're going to, trying to accommodate those tasks, which are challenging to recreate PARC, but we're working hard in the classroom to try to do that so that they do have more experiences similar to what they're going to experience on PARC, because they know the skills, but it is hard to then transfer that over to the computer sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a big factor.
Yep. Thank you for mentioning that it's computer-based. Yeah, that's a relevant factor. Okay, in terms of parents, you mentioned, Mrs. Wyndham, the parties went well right before winter break. We did have several classrooms with no parents scheduled to volunteer. And then within 2 or 3 days of the parties, we had a flurry of saying, please, we need your help. And a lot of people stepped up and filled those gaps. So I think by the time the parties came, we still had 1 room or 2 rooms that didn't have anyone. So we combined those rooms and had plenty of staff members. But because the PTO was providing the treats, there was an equitable spread of things to enjoy. So as I visited every room, I thought it went really, really well. Fresh fruit is.
So that was good?
It was
Yeah.
really,
Okay.
really well received.
Okay, great.
Kids enjoyed it. We had a couple extra because I know you bought them in sets, and
Yeah.
and as I went around with the extra ones, anyone want a pineapple? And the kids went nuts for it. So it was really,
Super.
it was
That's
really great
great.
to see. Yeah, so
Okay.
thank you for doing that.
Go Costco.
Yeah. And also I would just mention, I think signup.com is a resource for us for coordinating these things. I think it's catching on. That's maybe more of an opinion, but it seems that we're getting, between the book fair and then the winter holiday parties, it just seems that it's, people are a little bit more aware if they're wondering, what's an opportunity, that's maybe a place to go now. So I know this is going to take some time, but hopefully we'll keep moving in that direction. So
I have a question on
please.
that. If I sign up and I want to tell the other 2 parents that sign up, I'm going to be bringing the bingo cards.
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to communicate that way, or how do we communicate?
Right now, I don't know if there's a way to, for you to do that. I'll have to look at that, from a end user.
I think what you can do, I'm not positive of this either, but I think what you can do is post a message about your volunteering
Okay,
that is available for everyone to see.
That.
okay.
But I don't know that you can direct message those people
Okay.
privately.
I was gonna say otherwise, maybe just contacting the teacher to like
Right.
coordinate, you know, those
I know
people
the
that are
teacher
to
had
get,
said, well, the parents could talk to each other, and I said,
to
well,
get
how do
the
we talk
email
to each
so
other
that
other
you guys,
than, you know, yeah, okay.
There might be a way for an administrator to then, once there are signups actually in, to then push those back out to all who have signed up so that you can see who signed up for what.
Right.
So I'll look into that.
Right, because I could see other people's names, but I wasn't sure if I could click on that person and say, hey, what do you want to, you know, what do you want to do? What kind of activity do you want to
Yeah.
do? So, okay.
I'll look
Maybe
into
we could
that.
just test it.
That's a great idea because you're coordinating as a school, but now you need to coordinate as a class.
Right.
And I'll just point out too, we're using a free version and they do have a pay version. And I never really was, there wasn't anything compelling about moving to the pay version unless we got some features like this. So, it would be a minor investment, but if that's something that will help coordination, we could go there. But
And we've been managing without having to pay that extra
Right,
$200 or whatever a year. So we're good right now.
so the book fair went well. That was also, used as a primary way to get people to sign up. That was particularly helpful because it was in shifts. So you weren't just saying, well, I think I can volunteer, but what time do you need someone? And then, working on paper pencil. So I think that worked out for people to say, hey, for that 2 hours, I'm available. And we filled the slots. So that went well. We do. That's true. Yes, we had
Yeah,
inside help.
shout out to Chris Bending.
We continue to have active people who on Twitter, and so I'd encourage you, if you don't follow us on Twitter, or even if you don't have your own account, to use the Twitter feeds on our website to keep in touch with what's going on with your child's classroom and at school here, because we post photos and little glimpses of what's going on. We do have the 5 Essentials Parent Survey. It's been out for a while now, and we've had it listed on our website and in our weekly newsletters. We need to have 20% of our parents participate in order for a report to be generated, where essentially we see the results of what those folks have said to give us their input. And last I checked, we were around 10%. Now that was an uptick from 6% that it had been kind of stuck on for several weeks. So I'm hoping to do one final push here and see if we can get kind of over the hump. But if folks have not participated in the 5 Essentials survey, it's available from our website.
Can we have the teachers tell all the kids to pull this up in their Google, and then when they get home, have their
Force their
parents sign on, and then if they do that, they get some sort of special.
I'm not eating dinner until you.
Well, I mean, we can give them a reward.
I'm going to help you with
some
dinner
kind.
while you fill out the survey. That's a great idea.
We can give them a reward of some kind.
I like that.
Plate of brownies for, you know what I mean,
For
something
the
like that
class
to
or
just
something.
get it done. What, do you guys have any ideas on that?
Brownies would work.
Because
Chocolate and
cookies.
Right.
Be anything,
Brownie
though, even not cost related, they would appreciate.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
like a game
15
of
minutes
7
of,
Up. That's
Yeah.
something.
free
Homework
choice
pass.
time or
Right.
homework. Yeah, they like things don't cost us any money, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
A little healthier than the brownies because I'm trying to not eat sweets myself.
Let's do that.
Okay.
In terms of other items, just a reminder that our school improvement plan is available online on our website. I have a link here, a link on our agenda that's electronic, not the printed version. And our Illinois school report card is also available on our website. And that is a standardized way of comparing schools if anyone is interested in knowing more about your school. And obviously, you should look at either of those